trafficking, kidnappings, vehicle theft, human trafficking, extortion, and contraband. These are only but a few of the crimes committed on a regular basis by the Tren De Aragua gang in Venezuela. Even though the group operates from the confines of the Tocoron prison, it is the country's most powerful organization of criminals. The gang's territories go beyond Venezuela, reaching the far corners of Latin America. So, how did Tren De Aragua make it this far? And how powerful is the gang really? Rise to power. The group survived as long as it did thanks to its overwhelming number of members, along with government impunity under President Nicolas Maduro's administration. Additionally, the gang increased its influence and reach through strategic partnerships and the recruitment of smaller criminal factions in crucial areas of Venezuela and neighboring countries. But Tren De Aragua wouldn't be what it is today without its supreme leader, Héctor Rusterford Guerrero Flores, also known as Niño Guerrero. Guerrero's criminal activity started long before the establishment of Tren De Aragua. In 2005, he murdered police officer Osvaldo Gonzalez, leading to his imprisonment in 2010, but eventual escape in 2012. Tren De Aragua's origins trace back to a workers' union employed in constructing a railway project spanning the states of Aragua and Carabobo. The railway's construction led to the group being known as Tren De Aragua, or the Train of Aragua. As early as 2005, the union began to charge for job placements and extorted funds from contractors. By the time the construction was halted in 2011, the syndicate was already functioning like a criminal gang. However, it wouldn't be until 2013 that Tren De Aragua attained its current criminal status, all thanks to Guerrero. During that year, Guerrero was recaptured and returned to Tocoron prison, where he formed an alliance with the union members. Swiftly ascending the prison hierarchy, he eventually assumed the role of a pran, a term used for prison leaders in Venezuela. Several factors contributed to Tren De Aragua's increased strength and influence. The prison reforms of 2013, which were aimed at enhancing security in Venezuela, were never enforced at Tocoron prison. Initially, the gang's activities centered on extortion both inside and outside the prison. To ensure safety within the prison, Guerrero instituted a compulsory monthly payment known as the cause, demanding around $10 per month from fellow inmates. Even today, extortion remains a highly profitable source of income for the gang. Its members continue to extort prisoners within Tocoron prison and target businesses, agricultural producers, and escorts, both within Venezuela and beyond its borders. With more money came more luxuries. With the funds amassed through extortion, the gang members made their prison into their own home. They constructed a gym, a swimming pool, a playground, a restaurant, and even a nightclub. Although he made his home comfortable, Guerrero did not become complacent. The expansion continued beyond the prison walls. Tren De Aragua encountered minimal resistance while establishing control and operations. The gang recruited leaders from criminal gangs in the San Vicente neighborhood, about 30 kilometers from Tocoron in Maracay, the capital of Aragua. Another operations center was established there, with one such gang, El Flipper, led by Kenferson Sevilla Arteaga, gained complete control of the neighborhood. The gang further legitimized its activities by creating the Fundación Somos El Barrio Huataca, an institution purportedly dedicated to community support. This social organization acts as a public front for Tren De Aragua to exert power over its citizens. Through this foundation, the group gained access to government resources and support, including assistance from the then prisons minister Iris Varela. Under the guise of this foundation, the gang imposed strict rules within the community. These rules established restrictions on the lives of citizens, including prohibitions on men going shirtless outside, children being indoors after 6 p.m., and schools adopting discipline akin to military academies. Moreover, the gang strictly prohibits drug and cigarette sales while insisting that every house should have its lights turned on at all times. And lastly, every house must be adorned with a plant outside. There are no exceptions to this rule. If you're caught breaking any of these rules, it can lead to a trial where a jury decides punishments ranging from expulsion from the neighborhood to even the death penalty. Suffice to say, Tren De Aragua is the de facto government in the San Vicente neighborhood. Derek El Aissami, during his term as governor of Aragua, weakened the local police and designated San Vicente as a notorious zone of peace, off limits to security forces. As a result, Tren De Aragua amassed significant power in San Vicente, causing police officers and their families to flee their homes. Those who refused to leave were subjected to violent murders. Several existing criminal gangs in Aragua established non-aggression agreements with Guerrero, including Tren del Llano. However, Tren del Llano's leader died in 2016, leaving its territory open for Tren de Aragua to take control of. Tren de Aragua assumed control over its areas of influence in Aragua and parts of Garcia State. Between 2015 and 2017, as the strength of Tren de Aragua continued to grow, an official response was finally initiated. Security forces launched the People's Liberation Operation, which was a series of nationwide raids targeting criminal groups. Despite these efforts, Tren de Aragua managed to withstand the operations and maintain its influence. During this period, Guerrero further solidified his power and intensified the gang's expansion both within and outside of the prison walls. Within Tocoron, he strengthened his hold by orchestrating the murder of Venezuela's first Pran, Wilmer Brizuela, in April 2017. In the following years, the gang extended its reach to other states in Venezuela through strategic alliances with smaller criminal factions. By 2018, the group was attempting to establish themselves along Venezuela's borders, fighting guerrilla groups such as the National Liberation Army and criminal gangs such as the Gaitanistas in the process. The key targets of its expansion were the cities of Cucuta and Villa del Rosario, both near the border, resulting in many bloody conflicts and homicides with rival groups. And since then, Tren de Aragua has gone beyond the confines of Venezuela by establishing satellite groups, leveraging its transnational status by smuggling migrants across borders and trafficking humans. There is credible evidence even today of Tren de Aragua's presence in Colombia, Peru, Ecuador, Bolivia, and Chile, continuing expansion. After initially relying on extortion money, the gang started to diversify its income through various criminal activities, such as arms and drug trafficking, contraband, and kidnapping. Tren de Aragua is involved in kidnappings both within Venezuela and other countries such as Chile, Colombia, and Peru. The gang has expanded its activities to stealing cars and kidnapping the car owners in the process. Migrant smuggling has served as an essential method for the group to extend its reach across Latin American borders. Taking advantage of the significant Venezuelan exodus over the past decade, the gang has taken control of border crossings, targeting migrants and drug couriers for money. But this gang isn't just powerful because of its activities. It has strong connections with organized crime groups, both within Venezuela and other nations. The group has formed non-aggression pacts and even alliances with these groups to share criminal profits. One alliance is with a prison gang in the Trujillo Judicial Confinement Center led by Alvaro Enrique Montilla Briceño, known as El Loro. The gang has even outsourced its criminal activities by recruiting and financing a small criminal group known as the El Santanita Gang in Lara State. They are tasked with carrying out kidnappings and extortion. The gang continues to actively pursue alliances with potential satellite groups abroad, as evidenced by its association with the Gallegos clan, a gang operating in Peru and Chile, acting as an armed wing for Tren de Aragua. Tren de Aragua got this far thanks to its connections with key government figures in the early days, but proving ongoing links between the gang and the state has been challenging. Despite allegations of ties to pro-government political actors, there is a lack of independent corroboration for these claims. The gang's interactions with security forces have been intricate. While multiple sources indicate that the group has successfully corrupted local and regional officials, it has also faced significant setbacks during police operations, such as the People's Liberation Operation. Tren De Aragua's territorial expansion across the continent is the first time a Venezuelan gang is operating on such a wide scale. This expansion poses a significant threat to regional security, and dismantling the organization will prove significantly challenging. This group is not going away anytime soon, as long as it continues to enjoy impunity within Venezuela, using the country as an advantageous base for its criminal activities. Moreover, the gang's expertise in controlling prisons and corrupting security officials complicates law enforcement efforts to combat it effectively. The group is repeating its successful prison structures in Peru and Chile, exploiting the authorities who lack experience dealing with such sophisticated criminal networks behind bars. This means that its power and influence is only growing more and more by the day. Will officials ever be able to put a stop to it?